Hi, this is Michael Orl from MobileBurn.com, and today I have with me the T-Mobile G Slate. It's based on the LG Optimus Pad. It's an Android 3.0 Honeycomb tablet, and it's going to be available soon from T-Mobile USA. So here's the G Slate in its box, a rather large box I might add. The tablet itself looks very much like a T-Mobile G2X or a LG Optimus 2X. Let's start the device up while we take a look at it, what's in the box. And looks like we've got some warranty product information here, nothing of too much interest. Old school set of 3D glasses, and I'll show you why we need those a little bit later. Charger with a proprietary port. Here is looks like a micro USB to USB adapter cable. Probably for USB on the go type functionality, or keyboard, something like that. And then of course the regular USB to micro USB adapter. You can see that this is indeed a full-size USB port there by virtue of the fact that it plugs in. And there you have it, nothing else in the box. Alright, so let's take a look at the hardware. Obviously, large 8.9-inch display. Top hand edge, we've got volume control, probably a microphone right there. Right hand edge is where that power button is. One of the two stereo speakers, 3.5mm headphone jack. This is the power port as well for that proprietary charger. Down here we've got the micro USB port, some connectors probably for a dock or something like that, and the HDMI port. That's a mini HDMI. And two more stereo speakers there. On the back you can see the same metal bar we saw on the G2X. And if I can get this off, this shows that unlike the Motorola Xoom, you can actually get to some of the internals on the G Slate here. In this case you need to get to the SIM card right there. There's a reset button as well. Have not had to use that so far, thankfully. And of course dual 5-megapixel cameras because it can shoot in stereo video. One single LED flash though. There's also a forward-facing camera right here for video chatting, which is pretty nice. Let's get the device on and take a look at it. Let's get it into... So I've got the screen on now so you can see it's 8.9 inches across the diagonal. It's 1280 by 768. That's a 15:9 aspect ratio, a little bit unusual. And you'll see when I compare it to the Motorola Xoom, it's actually, the device is just about as wide as the Xoom, even though the screen is much narrower and smaller across the diagonal. 32 gigs of storage built in, and this device can still feel a little bit heavy in the hand, but it's lighter than an iPad or a Xoom. Those devices, original iPad at least, weighed about 730. The Xoom weighs 730. This is 630, so it's not too bad. Much better feel though than the Xoom, at least. You know, the rounded corners, soft touch back, and everything. Definitely much more comfortable in the hands than the Motorola Xoom. I'm really quite pleased with the hardware design so far. The little bit lighter weight and the little bit smaller design of the display, though, work out for me okay. HSPA data support, that's on the 900 and 2100 megahertz bands used outside of the US, as well as the AWS bands that are used by T-Mobile USA here. That's HSPA data, not HSPA plus, so I'm capable of theoretically 10 megabits per second down to up. Pretty decent in terms of speed, still Wi-Fi 802.11b, and N. Very nice hardware design. Just the only thing I would say is maybe the power button should be a little bit larger, but otherwise I'm really quite pleased with it. So here I've got the G Slate next to the Motorola Xoom. You can see the G Slate is quite a bit smaller. Not all that much shorter though. If I lay the two on top of each other, you can get a feel for it. Right now they're lined up, basically lined up at this corner here. So you can see there's a little bit of a discrepancy down the end. The G Slate's a few millimeters, 5, 6, 7 millimeters shorter. And then you've got a pretty, almost a thumb width here in terms of reduced width when in portrait mode at least. In terms of the display quality, both displays are pretty nice. A little bit warmer tones maybe out of the LG, a little bit brighter as well I would say, but both work pretty decently. It's a shame the LG would actually be a lot easier to use in portrait mode here for text input if it was a little bit narrower on the bezel here, because it would give you a much more advantage in terms of thumb typing versus the Motorola Xoom, which is a fairly large device. But either way, the reduced weight of the G Slate definitely makes it a little more comfortable than a traditional Apple iPad or a Motorola Xoom. Take a look at the software on the device. Generic build of Android Honeycomb, so if you already watched my Motorola Xoom video, you've seen most everything now that differentiates the devices. The only thing we're going to see that's a little bit different is software build out. Some obviously some T-Mobile specific applications here, T-Mobile TV, and we'll go through some of these later. The Quick, depending on how you say it, video chat does not work. It force closes whenever I tried using it, which is unfortunate. So it does have a forward-facing video camera, but I'll demonstrate a Google Talk video chat between this device and the Motorola Xoom a little bit later. In terms of home screens, here's the home screen set up. Got all your widgets. You can see some third-party widgets. This is the Twidroid widgets right here. So you can run older, non-Honeycomb specific device widgets. App shortcuts, selection wallpapers, very few. It's the same ones you saw on the Motorola Xoom, and none of them really show off the display very well. They're all kind of muted colors. Some live wallpapers, including one that I recently installed. You can take a look at that while we're using it, and a couple of additional things like shortcuts to specific email accounts and Gmail labels. Pull up the email client just so you can see it. This is I'll go directly into my AIM account. And you notice the nice split screen view. You can switch accounts right here and go into a combined view as well. I'll stick with the AIM one for now. When you tap on a message, let's go into this AOL legal message here. You can see everything shifts over, and instead you get the inbox on the left hand side. Multi-touch zooming. Android Honeycomb native apps will have a menu up here that you can access for quick functions. Tap there to go back a level, and again I can switch to Gmail and pull up one of the starred messages showing some formatted text. Got this multi-touch zooming there, and tap here to get to the attachments. See if I can pull that up, and there it is. Good support for complex Excel spreadsheets. No text messaging on this device. Will not find a generic messaging app up here in the M's on the main menu. Menu does have multiple panes. When one pane gets filled, it automatically spills over to the next one. You always have the option of going to My Apps, which is just the applications that you've installed yourself. Makes it really easy. So since the quick video chat's not working, what I'm going to do is I'm going to long press it here, and I'm going to drag it up to the uninstall button and just get rid of it. A lot easier than what you've had to do with some of the older Android smartphones. Just very quickly get rid of it from the main menu, something they should have done a long time ago. As I mentioned before, you can put a widget here on the screen for getting directly to a particular type of Gmail folder. This goes directly to the starred folder, which is pretty handy. Scrolling widgets, a little bit slow, probably due to, at least in part, that wallpaper. I'll turn that off just to simplify things here. Runs a dual-core Tegra 2 processor, just like the T-Mobile G2X smartphone. You can see it runs a little bit smoother now. Scrolling widgets for email as well. Tap here to change which view. Right now it's the combined inbox. Let's see if I can get it switched to AIM, and I'm having trouble hitting it here. Gmail. Zinio Reader for magazines. So here we have some magazines. I've already downloaded Road and Track here just to make it a little faster. Picks up where I left off. Go back to the index, and I can use multi-touch here, and I can actually tap on the index to skip to the appropriate page. If I move it into portrait mode, get one page per screen. Still have the ability to zoom in, of course. So here we are back in the list of magazines. Right there. These are all subscription based, so you have to pay for this service, but you can see the ones with the arrows have not been downloaded yet. Without the arrows, they have been, like the Road and Track one or his Maxim issue. Pretty cool service. Pages load pretty quickly, and there's actually a kind of cool view. Allows you to more quickly scan through the pages. Been overall quite pleased with the application.